So this slideshow I've titled Other Fun Soc Terms because these are things that I just think are fun and describe kind of what people do, and there's not a ton you need to know about them except for the fact that they're a thing. So one thing that I want to talk about is groupthink. Groupthink is an extreme form of conformity, the tendency for all members of a group to think alike for the sake of harmony and to suppress disagreement. And you are part of a groupthink and you probably don't even know it, right? People at Yarmouth hate CAPE. Back when I was at Colby, we had a saying, buck fates, right? The tendency of people to form groups with each other means that they also are going to form out groups, which creates this us versus them mentality and facilitates groupthink. So there are many factors that lead people to be vulnerable to groupthink: tight connections, isolation, pressure, and a strong leader. Signs that groupthink is a problem is the illusion of invulnerability, biased information seeking, pressure on dissenters to conform, and an illusion of unanimity. So if you think of like your average cult, cults function on groupthink. If you're looking for a cult picture to watch, you should watch Waco on Netflix. Great television. So here's some examples of groupthink, and they're pretty typical. You've got fraternities down here. Let me get my pointer down here. You've got sports fans, right? Mobs, the classic. On the more extreme end, the Holocaust, right? No one in the Holocaust was thinking, let's go kill some people at the start of it, but through groupthink, you become more and more polarized, which is going to lead you to do things that you wouldn't do without the group, which leads me to group polarization. So being in a group enhances one's existing viewpoints. Terrorism, for example, does not just happen. No one wakes up one day and says, you know what, I'm going to be a terrorist. Instead, the group becomes more and more isolated and more extreme as they form in opposition to the opposite party. So for example, the Republicans and the Democrats up here, this is from a couple years ago, but we've seen this group polarization where each one thinks that the other is an idiot, and they just keep drawing farther and farther apart. There's not really a moderate here. So one example of this, like I said, is an example of team rivalries with Cape Elizabeth. We can think of a ton of them. For example, every year people say that the freshmen are the worst class ever. Things like that, where you're just trying to form your own group identity, really means that you're being a little bit more extreme than you probably would be. Other things that happen with society is this thing called social facilitation. So the broader understanding is that people perform differently in front of others than they do when they're alone. And they perform better actually on well-rehearsed tasks or simple tasks. So this first one over here is from the 2016 Olympics, I want to say. Yep, Rio. This is Allyson Felix. This is a competitor from Bermuda. Allyson Felix is the reigning world champion, and her competitor is also quite good. Allyson Felix was expected to win. Technically, she was in front, right, if you look at their hips. But the thing with track is that the winner is the first person to cross the line with their torso. Allyson Felix is not quite there, and this competitor dove. Diving is illegal in track, so she also said that she tripped. I don't know about you, but that doesn't look like a trip to me. But regardless, she would not have dove if she was running by herself, right? Like if she's out for a run, like just testing herself, she would not dive across that line. That is facilitated by society and by the fact that she was competing. And I find that in a lot of races, right? I always tend to run better when I'm with other people and competing than by myself. This other example is about eating. So when on a date, men tend to eat 35% more food than they would normally, whereas women tend to eat 40% more food than they would normally. That's not to say that the women are eating more than the men. Actually, women usually eat less on dates, but they still eat more than they would if they were with their girlfriends. Who knows why? Social facilitation also works the other way. So you perform worse on new or unfamiliar tasks. So this is a picture of me, circa 2010, playing softball as a freshman in high school. I was pretty terrible, and I used to want to be a pitcher. I couldn't find a picture of my pitching days, but I one time got so worked up that I wound up, as a pitcher does, and tossed the ball behind me. And I was so embarrassed. And because of the high pressure situation and the fact that pitching was a relatively new task, I actually performed worse than I ever had in practice. So, them's the breaks. Social loafing is another fun term. People exert less effort to achieve a goal when working in a group. And you might know some people who act like this in a group project, right? So really, this is social loafing, right? I love this project. I don't need to do anything with these people. And social facilitation is the opposite, where you actually start to actually do things. Another thing to look at is diffusion of responsibility. So in a group, people will avoid taking action because they assume that other people will. And this happens most with the bystander effect in crowds. When someone is in trouble, individuals often fail to take action or call for help because they assume someone else will. This is why in CPR, they tell you to assign roles to people, like you call the ambulance, you get an AED. So the bystander effect is really wicked. It is evil, really. So this is a video about a woman named Kitty Genovese who was murdered in front of her neighbors. This is more examples of the bystander effect. So there you have it. These, this is de-individuation, which has to happen for bystander effect. Basically, when you're in a group, you lose awareness of your own individuality. So this could happen in large crowds, right? People do weird stuff in mobs. It also is more likely to happen in cities than in small towns. And people are more likely to violate social norms or laws than they would be on their own. So, now, there you have it. That is some fun Soc terms, and I would encourage you to go back and watch the videos so that you can understand them further.